Are you interested in editing audiobook or becoming a full-time editor just for the audiobook and podcast services? So in this series, I will help you become a skillful editor and I will share you all the tips and tricks to edit a long form raw audio which you usually get from the client, right? So as a beginner, in this case, I am using Cubase Pro software. I'm using the ninth version. Basically, you can use any DAW or any software. There are many free ones out there. If you are using a Mac, you can get GarageBand, or you can download Audacity from the web. That's free also, right? So you can basically use any DAW, but the techniques and tips will be the same. So for instance, here we have an audio file. This is the project I'm currently working on. So let's just talk about how to edit a long form audio. Basically, you get the audio file from the client. You just have to import in your DAW, right? But before you import it to your DAW session, you have to make sure that the specs of the audio file which you are getting from the client and the specs of your project tempo is the same. So basically the sample rate and the bit rate are same. In this case it is 44.1 and 16 bit rate, right? If you are getting the file of 24 bit rate, you have to then set up the project accordingly. Also, there are few keyboard shortcuts that are very handy and it should be used by every editor so that they can edit the audio file in a much faster pace. For instance, if you are using Cubase Pro, use G to zoom out and use H to zoom in. So basically G and H are very handy when it comes to zoom in and zoom out, right? Now if you want to go to a next level and if you want to do much faster editing and you are using a mouse, then you can press option command and then move the cursor so that you can zoom in and zoom out fast. So these are three keyboard shortcuts which every editor needs to use it again and again so that it becomes your second nature, right? So two important things we learned in this video. It was first to make sure that the bit rate and the sample rate is matched with the audio file you are getting from the client, and the few keyboard shortcuts of the DAW whichever you are using. So in the last video, we saw the functionality of G and H key for the Cubase Pro. Now let's say if we want to move the cursor over the timeline from left to right, where we got an audio of more than 1 hour. So for that, there is a keyboard shortcut. We just simply have to press shift and then we can access the timeline from left to right horizontally in Cubase Pro. By doing this, you will be able to access the timeline and you will be able to edit the audio in a quicker manner. Let's say for instance I am at 0 second right now and I want to go at the audio which is at 15 minute because I got a revision from the client. So I'll just simply press shift and I will move my cursor. Once I reach at the specific minute, I will just press option and command which we discussed in the previous video and just zoom in and boom. Here I go. I can literally edit this audio and do the revision as needed. Let's say you don't want to use the strip silence function in your DAW and you decide to manually strip the silence as you need. So can we do that? Yes, absolutely we can do that. Check out all my previous videos on how to combine all the shortcuts together so that you can strip the silence in a much faster way. Although in this video I will demonstrate you how to strip the silence manually. For that, all you have to do is hold option and command together and then with the help of mouse zoom in to see the detailed waveform. After that, press 2 on your numeric keypad of your Mac or Windows whichever you are using and you will be able to select the selection tool. Once you get the hold of an area you want to delete with the help of selection tool, just simply press delete on your keyboard and in this way you can manually get rid of all the silence in Cubase. Now, after you deleted the silent part, you always have to fade in and fade out to ensure the smooth flow of the audio, right? If you don't use fade in or fade out, you will hear a minor click or pop in the headphones, and this is usually not desirable in audiobooks or podcasts. So, let's hear the audio without fades.
In this chapter,
Now keep in mind, this audio is recorded in well acoustic space, but still if you hear in the headphones, you will hear a minor pop or click. Now, if you want to do a real fade in and fade out in Cubase, you have to zoom in for that area, select the area and then simply press A so it will automatically fade in for that part, and same goes for the fade out. Let's take a different scenario. Suppose you want to remove the silence between two words as the gap is very long. First, let's hear the audio.
Place your attention on the movement of your breath as you inhale and exhale. As you follow your breath,
So what you can do is you can press 2 on the keypad, select the part and just simply delete it. Once deleted, you will be able to remove the silence, but now you have to add fade in and fade out for the both clips, right? In Cubase, we can do fade in and fade out at the same time. Just select the area, press A and Cubase will automatically does fade out for the end part of the former clip and then fade in for the starting part of the latter clip. I hope it's clear. So, after doing all the arrangements, let's hear the audio now.
place your attention on the movement of your breath as you inhale and exhale. As you follow your breath,
Okay, let's look at how to cut those ums and ah and to make sure the pacing of your narration or podcast is excellent. I will show you how to cut them in the most efficient way if you are using Cubase Pro. Whenever you want to cut ums and ahs, simply zoom in the area with the help of Option command and the cursor. Once you zoom in, press number 2 on your keypad, select the area and simply delete it. Now comes the best function of the Cubase. Highlight the last part of the former clip and the first part of the later clip and simply press A on the keyboard. What this will do is it will automatically fade in and fade out for the both clips, so you don't have to do it manually. So these are the shortcuts which I usually do to speed up my editing process. Let's look at the example. First, I will play the unedited clip.
Another episode and another fantastic guest, somebody that I haven't spoken to for a long time, but I've admired from afar because of type of another episode.
You can hear the ums and ahs as well as the breath in the clip. Now let's hear after I removed all the breaths and ums of this particular clip. I will play the audio again.
Another episode and another fantastic guest, somebody that I haven't spoken to for a long time, but I've admired from afar because of type of individual he is. I've got
In my opinion, I would say don't rely too much on AI when it comes to editing of audio or video because you never know which information you need to retain or delete in the clip. Always use crossfades when you are editing long form, whether it's audiobook or podcast. Yes, you can even do simple fade in and fade out whenever you make a cut in the audio, but crossfades provide a smooth transition, especially when the audio content is same. So, for a demonstration purpose, let me play the audio.
another episode and another fantastic guest, somebody that I haven't spoken to for a long time, but I've admired from afar because of type of individual he is. I've got another
Now, let's play with crossfades.
another episode and another fantastic guest, somebody that I haven't spoken to for a long time, but I've admired from afar because of type of individual he is. I've got
You will notice that the consistency of the voiceover remains very even when we are using crossfade versus when we are using simple fade in and fade out. It feels like there is a bit of volume change whenever the cuts are there. Although the difference is very negligible, but if you can, then in my opinion, I would suggest you to use crossfades. Let's compare the audio again. So first I will play without crossfades. So just a simple fade in and fade out.
episode and another fantastic guest, somebody that I haven't spoken to for a long time, but I've admired from afar because of type of individual he is. I've got
With the crossfades.
another episode and another fantastic guest, somebody that I haven't spoken to for a long time, but I've admired from afar because of type of individual he is. I've got
Pay attention to these specific words where we made a lot of crossfades.
I haven't spoken to for a long time, but I've admired from afar because of type of individual he is. I've got I haven't spoken to for a long time, but I've admired from afar because of type of individual he is. I've got
You can see that the words feels like they are breaking in between, And now listen to the crossfades again.
That I haven't spoken to for a long time, but I've admired from afar because of the type of individual he is. I haven't spoken to for a long time, but I've admired from afar because of the type of individual
You can see that the consistency is even when we use crossfades. In this tutorial, I will show you how to do basic equalization and compression for your voiceover. This will pretty much be applicable to any DAW you use. In this case, we are taking Cubase as our example. Let's say this is our voiceover we want to EQ and compress. Open the channel settings. Try to reduce the boominess around 100 to 200 Hz, or you can go till 250 Hz. Usually when you record a voiceover and record with closed microphone, there will be a lot of boomy frequency. Try to deep it about 2 to 3 dB and make sure you play with the Q factor if you want to reduce more boominess in or around the frequency you selected. In some voiceover recordings, there is always a strong resonance or peak at around 1K to 1.5K. Fortunately, there is no such resonance in our case, but usually the voiceover recorded with cheap microphones and bad interface usually have such resonances and peaks. If you feel that your voice is lacking some of the brightness, try to go for a high shelf at 4 to 5K and make sure it's no more than 1 to 2 dB. Now let's compress the voiceover. Take any compressor you want. You can use the stock plugin or any of your favorite compressor. Also, in most of the compressor, there is always a voiceover preset. Let's check out in our channel. Okay, there's one. And in our comp, there's also this one. But I would suggest that you do it manually by listening to the voiceover first. In this case, I'm using SSL compressor as my go-to compressor. In this voiceover, go to the loudest peak and try to compress for about 3 to 4 dB of reduction.
fantastic guest, somebody that I haven't spoken to for a long time, but fantastic guest, somebody that I haven't spoken to.
That's about good. Keep the ratio 4 is to 1 and the release on auto, and make sure you have medium to slow attack, and also compensate makeup gain how much you reduced with the threshold. In our case, we reduce around 3 to 4 dB.
Fantastic guest, somebody that I haven't spoken to for a long time, but fantastic guest, somebody that I haven't spoken to for a long time, but fantastic guest, somebody.
And I think we are good to go. So that's how you EQ and compress the voiceover. This is just a basic tutorial. Comment below if you want to see the detailed tutorial of this one, and I will show you why and how I use this specific EQ and compressor. And also if you want to see me doing the same thing in any of your favorite DAW, please comment below and I will show you how to do that. Let's say you are a full-fledged narrator and you do it as a full-time job, and sometimes it's hard to make a portfolio while making different voiceovers, and going to the studio is not always budget friendly. So here is one plugin I would like to share where it would be very much easy for every narrator or the author, where they don't have to think much of technical perspective and can just stay focused in the creative work. The plugin that I would like to discuss today is Neutron from Isotope RX. So the plugin has a track assistant and it has a built-in intelligent AI which will automatically detect your voice and give suggestions on the basis of that. So let's see in our case how it is going to help us. Let's say this is our voiceover and I want to EQ and compress it, but I don't know how to do it as I'm not a professional audio engineer or an audio editor. But still, I would like to have it properly equalized and compressed and get ready for the streaming purposes or to send as a demo to a big studio. For that, I would load up the plugin and then I would click on Track Assistant. So it will ask which instrument are we aiming for, or we can also keep it on auto detect. Let's select voice in our case as we are doing voiceover. Do you want it warm, balanced or upfront? In our case, just keep it balanced. Then it will wait for us to play the audio. So now let's play the audio and you can see it is analyzing the audio signal, and now it will set up the EQ and compressor depending on what best suits our voiceover. And once everything is done from that side, click on accept and boom, here you go. Your voice is equalized and compressed. As you can see, these are lows, mids, and highs, and the track assistant has intelligently analyzed our audio and made these adjustments. You can see there were some boxy frequency around the area, so it automatically made a cut of about 5 dB just to make sure the level of the voiceover is consistent. There is also a high shelf for about 2 dB, which makes the vocal a bit bright, but not a lot. If there is any low boost or any low mid boost, try to avoid it. So I would just simply turn it off. Now let's see how much compression it is doing. So the ratio is about 2 is to 1, right? And now let's play the audio.
Another episode and another fantastic guest. So we've
Yeah,
got, I haven't
so it
spoken
is
to for a long
barely
time, but
doing
I've
any
admired
compression
from
as of
afar
right now. So
because
if
of
you
so,
want,
and
you
another
can decrease
fantastic
the
guest. So we've
threshold
got, I
and
haven't
make sure
spoken to
it's
for a long time,
dipping
but I've
about
admired
1
from
is to 2
afar
dB.
because of the type of individual he is. I've
2
got
to
another
2.5 is
episode
good.
and another
And so
fantastic.
with the help of neutron elements or neutron, we are able to make our voice ready for ACX and Audible platforms. Okay, so let's recap for the keyboard shortcuts we used in earlier videos to speed up our editing when we edit audiobook and podcast. As you guys already know, we are using Cubase for the demonstration purpose. The first step would be to move the track from left to right, press shift on the keyboard and move the cursor. Another shortcut is press option command and move the cursor at the same time to zoom in and zoom out fast. If you want to delete breaths or other bad takes, simply zoom in, select the audio, press delete, and to quickly fade in and fade out for the both clips, use A on the keyboard. To bring any clip at the cursor, press Command L and it will bring the clip where the cursor is. If you are a Cubase user, please use these shortcuts every day and you will see your workflow will reduce significantly. Don't make this mistake if you are a narrator editing the audiobook yourself. Otherwise, there is a high chance that the audiobook will be rejected by ACX. Make sure you watch the video till the end, and I bet that your audiobook will get accepted 100%. Today, I will show you how you can make a room tone from the voiceover that you have been given, and will also explain you the importance of crossfades as we discussed in the last video. So as most of you guys know already that when you upload your audiobook to ACX, they need a noise floor and it should not be higher than minus 60 dB RMS, correct? So let's say you got a first chapter of your audiobook and you have carefully edited all the breaths, clicks, pops, and also adjusted the pacing of words and phrases so the story moves smoothly. But because of the cuts that you made, there will always be some space between words or phrases. If you simply export such audio and upload it to ACX, you will get an error or it will say that there is no noise floor or noise floor not detected. So if you want to fix that, place another audio track of noise floor beneath the main voiceover and it should not be more than minus 60 dB RMS. I will show you how we can make a room tone from the voiceover that we get. It is our duty as an audio editor to make sure the noise floor, peak levels, and the RMS level should be within the ACX standards so that the narrator will not face any issue when they upload it to ACX platform. So let's say you got the audio of chapter 1 and as you already know, there will be a space between words or phrases in the story. So now you will ask me what is a room tone? So basically room tone is a natural sound that exists in a room where the voiceover was recorded and when there is a room tone in the whole audio, the audio edits or the cuts seem smooth enough and almost inaudible to the listener and the listener can comfortably listen to the whole story in a go. If you want to know more about room tone and its importance, I will attach a link from the Isotope blog post and you will get a better idea. So now let's jump right in our session. And as you can see, there are many gaps between the words and phrases and we can choose a chunk of a audio. So let's take this gap. I think it's big enough for us to make a room tone out of it. Do you listen it? A continuous sound. Listen it in headphones and you will get an idea. Now I will right click it and select the scissor tool and take the chunk of that room tone that I want. Now I will make this chunk into a big audio file of about 20 to 30 minutes with the help of crossfades. So as discussed In the last video, you will see why I was giving more emphasis on crossfades rather than simply fade in and fade out. I will select this chunk, drag it to a different audio track, and I will duplicate the audio clip. Now, for instance, let's say I fade out the first clip and do fade in for the next clip so that the audio can run smoothly. Now guess what will happen? Let me play it for you. Right? You can clearly see that one can know that the audio dips in between and we don't want that. So now comes the role for crossfades. Try to overlap a good amount of audio. Once you do that, press X on the keyboard. It is a shortcut in Cubase and it will create a crossfade between two audio clips as you can see. Now double click on the crossfades. Make sure you select equal power to ensure the consistency between the clip remains the same and there is no volume dip. Now let's duplicate the clip, overlap it again, press X, select the crossfade and make sure it's equal power. Repeat the process and make the audio as long as you want. I will try to make it for 1 to 2 minutes in our case. Now let's play whole audio. As you can see, there is no volume dip or there is no inconsistency between each track, and that's the beauty of crossfade. And in this way, you can create room tone from any audio file that you get. The volume of the audio file would be at very low level. It is just meant to stay in the background when you are listening the audiobook, but it is very essential to have. Comment below what else you want me to share my methods when it comes to audiobook and podcast editing. In this tutorial, I will show you which noise reduction plugins to use in order to eliminate background distractions and enhance the clarity of the voiceover. The first plugin which I usually add first is the RX voice denoise. The intelligent algorithm of Isotope RX uses adaptive mode and it automatically reduces the background noise depending on the noise profile. After that, I use declick and this helps me reduce all the pops, clicks and the lip smacks which are always there somewhere in the voiceover. Try to use the multiband preset which is usually there for the random clicks. In that, keep the sensitivity between 3 to 4. In the frequency skew, what frequencies of the click you want to hear? Is it low frequency or high frequency? So I usually keep it around 2.6. And for the click widening, make sure you don't do it more, otherwise it will produce unnatural artifacts and the vocal will sound unnatural. Let's look at the example. Firstly, I will play without the plugins. So I already installed this plugin in this software and now I just imported this audio file which I recently finished working. Turn on both the plugins and hear it together. So I already installed this plugin in this software and now I just imported this audio file which I recently finished working. Big difference, right? In the next tutorial, I will give you few websites where you can reduce the background noise and enhance the vocal clarity with the help of AI. So today I will show you how to tackle plosives when you are doing audiobook or podcast editing. It is very normal, especially if it's a voice or a dialogue to have such plosives. So those are hard consonants which are recorded such as P's and B's. Usually they can be removed during recording by using a pop filter or wind filter during location sound, but sometimes they are still there in the recording. Let me show you how you can remove those plosives in Isotope RX. As you can see, this is the audio that I selected which has plosives. Let me play an audio for you.
upon and upon and
You can hear
upon
it in the
and
word upon as the P being a hard consonant.
upon and upon and
Now, to tackle this, RX has a plugin called Deplosive. Let's open Deplosive. The good thing about RX spectrogram display is that you can even visually see that there is a plosive in the audio file. You will see that brighter the area, it will represent higher amplitude. So just by visualization, you can know that there is a plosive happening around that area. Now, let's try to keep the sensitivity around 2 to 3. If you increase the sensitivity, the plugin will analyze the input audio signal, and sometimes because of that, the unnecessary consonants are also cut out. The frequency limit should be adjusted to whatever you see in the signal. So here I am saying that the plosives are around 150 Hz. So I'll try to keep between 200 to 300 just to be on safe side. Usually the plosives are from 20 Hz to 300 Hz. Do not increase the strength. The more the value of strength, the more it will reduce the plosives and it will decrease the quality of the speech. So try to keep it between 2.5 to 3. Now, before committing to the settings, a good thumb of rule is to increase the sensitivity so it can focus on the specific areas and reduce the strength so that the plosives reduction will not be significant. Let's do that. Let's compare how it would sound after we render it. So click on compare. Let's listen to how it will sound. Click on preview.
upon and
This is before.
upon and upon and
This is after.
upon and upon and upon and
Before.
upon and
After.
upon and
Click render and we are done. Now let's try to increase the strength just to see the extreme effect. Click on compare. Click on preview.
upon and upon and
Let's see how it was original.
upon and upon and upon and upon and
So as you saw, when we increased the strength, the quality of the word deteriorated, and try to bring down the strength and then you are good to go. I will show you how we can manually eliminate those plosives in RX. I will take previous example so you can relate with that. Let me play the audio for you.
upon and upon and
Now, do you see those three squares at the bottom of the spectrogram? In Isotope, you can not only just select frequency or time as an independent tool, but it also lets you select time and frequency at the same time. Isn't that great? So let's say we want to eliminate the plosives here. Ideally, we can take same consonant from any other word and just copy paste that consonant and it will work just perfectly fine. But let's say in our case we don't have such word and still we want to remove the plosives. So for that, select frequency tool here. I want to remove till let's say about 200 hertz. So I will just simply copy paste from the area where there is no plosives.
upon and upon and upon and
Before.
upon and upon and
After.
upon and upon and upon and
And that is how you can manually get rid of plosives. And sometimes this is very helpful in the audio where the plugin might not detect all the plosives in a detailed manner from the input signal that we give. Now keep in mind this example also has a big click in it. So because of that you might hear a pop in the sample, but the blow has been removed. And to remove the click or let's say the pop, I will make a different tutorial for it. Let me show you another example. I will take the same podcast audio that I'm currently working on. So let me just go ahead and play the audio for you.
pray for you, pray for you, pray for you, pray for you,
So you hear how praise
pray,
sounds,
pray,
right? The letter P, it is a hard consonant. So now what I will do is I will take again the time frequency tool, copy the area where there are no plosives, let's say like here, and I will just simply copy paste it.
pray for you and myself, pray for you, pray for you, pray for you,
before,
Pray for you. Pray for you. Pray for you.
after.
Pray for you. Pray for you. Pray for you.
This shows how powerful Isotope is in terms of audio post production or audio repair. When it comes to editing audiobook or podcast editing, I cannot rely more on how important this tool is. And I think you will not regret buying this. If you want to try out Element feature, you can still try out, and all the things which I just did, you can also do that in Elements version also. Let's try to remove lip smacks, pops and clicks in the audio, but this won't be just a regular tutorial where I will show you how to remove it. But apart from that, I will also show you which plugins will do the right job for you. So today we are going to compare three of the most used plugins in Isotope RX. First one is declick, the other one is mouth declick, and the last one is decrackle. So let's look at them one by one. Here I will quickly play the audio for you so you can know what's going on.
Written by Audrey Pfeiffer and Andrew Maragos. Written by Audrey Pfeiffer and Andrew Maragos.
This is one of the audiobook that I'm currently working, and my goal is to remove the lip smacks and few clicks which are here and there. So let's see if we can do it and which one among all three plugins is more effective. First, let's take the advantage of our spectrogram that we are offered by Isotope. As you can see in the selected area, we can easily spot few clicks here and there. They are not much prominent since they are not bright enough and they have low amplitude. So I am guessing we can easily remove them with the help of the plugins. Most of the clicks and smacks are especially from 3K till the end, as we can see from the spectrogram. Let me play the part from which we are going to remove all the lip smacks and clicks and the crackles, everything. And as we already know, all of the three plugins are designed to remove the clicks, although they have a bit difference if you look it in a much detailed way. So let's start with D-click now. Since the clicks are here and there, let's select multi-band random clicks. Try to go for higher frequency skew if your audio has higher frequency. I'm keeping it as it is, let's say about zero point 0.5 or something. Keep widening about 2 here, and between 4 to 5 will be the sensitivity. Let's keep it till 4 now. Let's render it. Before, after. So you can see most of the clicks and the lip smacks have been gone. Now let's take mouth declick. Keep the click widening till 1 to 1.5. Let's keep the frequency as it is. Let's try to keep the sensitivity around 2.5. Now let's render it. Before, after. You can see the clicks have been reduced, but the lip smack is still there. It is not completely removed. For the video sake, let's increase the sensitivity and we can increase the frequency skew. Now let's render it. Before, after. So even after this, the lip smack has not been removed completely. Now let's go for decrackle. Usually I keep the quality high as it will give me the best possible rendering result. Let's keep high amplitude skew and increase the strength. Let's render it. Before, after. As you can see, most of the clicks have been gone. The amplitude of the lip smack has been significantly reduced. If you want to go for extreme result, Slide the strength to the extreme, and now let's render it again. Before, after. Okay, so it gives us the clean result, but it leaves us with a space of digital mush because it has reduced all of the high frequencies and the quality has been a bit reduced. But with that being said, we went for extreme results though. So for this particular audio and in this particular case, we saw that D-click gave us the best and the clean result. Then comes D-crackle, it did a good job. However, when we ran our audio through mouth declick, it failed to remove lip smack and click. But you can try messing with the settings of the mouth declick and let me know if you can get good results, because sometimes even I get a good result, but unfortunately in this case it did not work, so we had to reach for other plugins. All I am trying to say that these are the different tools that are given to us, and if we use them carefully and precisely, I think we can get the best results. Be it declick or mouse declick or decrackle, use them wisely and use where they are supposed to be, and you will be good to go. Let me know in the comments which one works for you for the most of the time. As I told in the last video, I will give you some free websites where you can enhance your voice and remove background noise with the help of AI. So the first free website and one of the most popular as of right now is CapCut. You can use it as an online editor as well as download the application in your phone or your laptop. Let me show you how it's done. Once you import your audio in the CapCut, go to the right hand side, click the audio tab and scroll down. You will see the noise reduction tab. Just turn on this tab and the AI will automatically do the job for you. Another free website which I can tell you is Veet.io. Here also, once you import the project, click to the audio that you imported, and once you click it, there is an option called Clean Audio which will automatically remove all the background noise with the help of AI. However, the only drawback is that once you export the video, it comes with the watermark, and if you want to remove the watermark, you obviously have to pay for the monthly price. You can also remove the background noise in Audacity, which is a free DAW. However, the algorithm behind it will not give you the possible best results. But in case if you want to try, then select the audio, go to the effects section, go to noise removal and repair, and then click noise reduction. Click on the noise profile so the Audacity will automatically scan how much noise is there in the audio file. Again, follow the same steps and make sure the reduction is about 12 to 15 dB. Otherwise, if you extend it more, it will sound unnatural. And then hit OK. To conclude, if you are just a content creator and just uploading voiceover and videos, you can rely on AI. But if you are doing podcast editing or audiobook editing, you will need to pay for some plugins. And in my opinion, Isotope RX has the best plugins when it comes to reduction of background noise and repair of the audio. Also, in few other software nowadays, there is a feature called Magic Cut, which will remove the ums and ahs and also remove the background noise. However, in all these things, the only drawback is that you don't know what AI will remove. Sometimes you need such text purposely, and sometimes you want to keep the footage purposely. So, all I want to say is that don't always rely on such plugins. If you have a long term client and if you are paid fairly decent amount, then please go for manual editing. Otherwise, there will not be any human touch in your editing and they might not like it in the long run. Let's say you edited your first audiobook and now you are all set to upload on ACX platform. But when it comes to uploading on ACX, it has few guidelines for audio requirements. That is, they want a specific noise floor, RMS levels and peak value. How do you know your audiobook will get accepted on this platform for sure? So for this, there is a free plugin called ACX Checker, but this plugin is only made for the users who work on Audacity. For those who don't know what Audacity is, it is a free and open source digital platform which is used for recording and editing purposes, much like all other DAW. It is compatible with Windows, Mac, or Linux. Once you run your audio with this plugin, it will tell you whether all the audio requirements are met within the ACX requirement. Comment on this video and I will send you the file to download this free plugin. Okay, so in this tutorial, I will show you how you can change the parameters with the help of ACX checker and make sure that the audiobook that you upload will be 100% accepted on ACX platform. I just imported the audio file in this current session. Select the audio file and analyze with the help of ACX checker. Now you will see that the peak levels as well as the RMS levels are failing. The levels are not within the ACX parameters. In this case, there are few functions in Audacity which are very helpful in order to fix this issue. Select the audio, go to volume and compression, and then head down to loudness normalization. Let's keep the loudness to -20 dB as the RMS levels should be within -18 to -23 according to ACX. If you want to fix the peak levels, go to the effects section, go in the volume and compression and then select the limiter. Make sure it is limiting till -3 dB because that's what ACX requires. And now our peak levels and RMS levels are good to go. Let's select the audio again, hit analyze and let ACX checker do its thing. Now you can see all the requirements have been fulfilled, which is peak level, RMS level and the floor. Make sure you follow me for more tips.